We are now live. I'm hoping everybody has been able to log on. It looks like I have one viewer. I'll wait a few minutes. Let's see. I'm going to share this with the viewers again. For anyone that has registered, you will be able to go back and watch the replay. Oh, hello. Is it Vaishnavi? I know I'm butchering the name. So you are currently completing, actually, before we even get started. All right, you are currently completing a master's degree. I can't see. In molecular biotechnology and working my way towards a career in clinical research. Nice to meet you too. I'm glad you're on. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay. And I can actually see the comments on the right side of the screen, but you'll be able to ask questions later on. You can still put your questions in the chat as I'm going through this webinar. It might not even be an hour long, but today we're going to actually talk about how you can land paid partnerships within the clinical research industry using LinkedIn. And you don't need a budget initially. So if you do not know me by now, my name is Alicia Moore. I am the CEO of Clinical Science Research Solutions, and I'm also the founder of my nonprofit organization called I Am Research and Wellness Foundation. So the purpose of this webinar is to basically teach you how to land partnerships in this industry using your own visibility. And a lot of times it boils down to branding yourself, what you stand for, your niche, the pain point you're trying to address within the niche, within the clinical research industry, your story behind it, your why, and how you're able to take your clinical research industry experience and turn it into a service or a product that solves a company's pain point or your client or client avatar, basically a B2B or B2C, so business to customer or business to business. You do not need any ads or a huge following, and you just need to actually position yourself with purpose and strategy. You have to be the subject matter expert in whatever topic that you are experienced in, whatever you can talk about in your sleep. And again, a lot of this boils down to how you brand yourself on social media. Partnerships matter because it creates a relationship. If you are a site or an aspiring site owner and you are looking to start a site, a lot of times, the way you build a relationship in this industry, again, is by putting out, great content, going to conferences, maybe having your business cards ready, brochures ready, because a lot of times those sponsors and CROs, they're right there at those conferences that sponsor those particular conferences. So if you're able to attend those events, even a webinar, then you are working on building a relationship, and you're actually working on putting yourself out there and letting people know that, hey, you actually exist, and you're in the clinical research industry, and some of the things that the pain points that are plaguing this area. Partnerships matters because as a consultant, you can land deals. And the way you land a deal is by building trust and exposure. That still goes back to branding yourself. It still goes back to putting yourself out there, maybe like a YouTube channel or giving out some educational content that's going to, again, it's going to attract the right people to you. You don't need to wait to be discovered. You need to be proactive. You need to just, if you're embarrassed about getting on social media, I'm going to ask for you're going to have to get over that part, because the opportunities come whenever you open up your mouth. The opportunities come whenever you expose yourself to the real world. And also opportunities come whenever you do not have like a blank page or a picture on your LinkedIn profile. You need to make sure that people actually know that you are visible, you're a real person, because there's too many fake individuals and profiles going around. So you don't want people skeptical about who you are. And I'm going to use myself as an example. I tried to, put out some good information a couple years ago on LinkedIn, and I've told this story multiple times. I wanted to get into the clinical trial manager role or the project manager role, and I tried to put out content that was based around those particular roles and what they actually had to do on a day-to-day basis. And I tried to create YouTube videos based on those particular topics, and nothing really did stick. And I actually even went as far as creating a 6-month program for individuals trying to, like yourself, Vaishnavi, trying to enter into the clinical research industry. And that program actually flopped. But that's okay. That's part of growing. That's part of exposing yourself. That's part of giving out information. You need to see what's going to resonate with your audience. What I found was a lot of times whenever you are trying to brand yourself and win partnerships in this industry, you have to make for sure, again, you address a pain point. And how is that pain point different from everybody else that's trying to land a partnership, that's trying to, collaborate with other companies in this industry? And I can say for myself, the way I have branded myself and found my niche is I'm actually living it. If you're actually living your what you have to offer, it becomes easier to talk about. It becomes easier to tell your story, right? So that's one thing you need to keep in mind. Your avatar, your ideal client is actually you living it. I live in a research naive area. I know that sponsors are wanting to partner with business owners like myself because this is an untapped market. See how that solves the pain point? You see how I'm able to cater to the needs of the sponsor, and I'm still able to cater to the needs of my community. And not only that, I have built mentorship programs, and I'm working on building an academy out that will be accredited, because there is a need. It's a need for all of it. So that's something that you don't want to miss. And honestly, whenever you start putting out good content that actually resonates with the audience, addresses a pain point, and you're authentic about it, you actually do not have to go looking for any partnerships. Those companies will actually start gravitating to you. And I've had at least 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 companies that have gravitated to me and said, hey, I would like to partner with you. We love what you have to offer. We love what you're saying. You give out great educational content, and we actually feel what you are talking about. We see that you're excited about it. We see that you're actually passionate about what you do. Because again, I love, first of all, you have to love what you do. And then again, those companies, the $1 million companies, will actually reach out to you and say, hey, we've got this partnership deal. I think you're going to like it. Let's have a meeting. Let's talk. And honestly, whenever you start building your brand, the partnerships will come, and more partnerships. Your inbox will be flooded with individuals that are wanting to partner with you. They will be flooded with other business owners that are wanting to partner with you. Of course, be careful of the fake ones that are trying to just hoodwink you, but you fill them out, you have meetings with them, and you'll know if they are legitimate business owners that are wanting to partner with you, because you do offer value. What are some common myths about partnerships? First of all, some people believe that you need to have funding first. That is not true. You just need to have a strategy. You need to show up, and you need to show up consistently on LinkedIn or whatever platform. Really, it's LinkedIn, to be honest, and YouTube. You need to show up consistently talking about things that plague the industry. You need to show up consistently, and please do not get on there on a rant, because that's not solving a pain point. Now, it's a difference whenever you're actually giving out value, and the data is there, statistics are there. Let's say, for instance, well, sponsors are not able to find these research naive areas because they're not looking for the areas, they don't know where they are. And then individuals that are living in the research naive areas, well, they really don't know how to position themselves on LinkedIn to actually, have those individuals partnering or looking at you, finding you. But back to the funding first. You don't need it. You just need yourself. You need a laptop. You need a phone. You need to brain dump your ideas and then go from there. I didn't start off with a huge following, and I still really do not have a huge following, but I promise you, whenever you start hitting those pain points and addressing a need in the industry, a need in your area, your following is going to start skyrocketing. My following, I was around, let's say, maybe 600 followers before I actually attended the SOS conference in 2024 of last year. And after I attended that conference, I was actually a guest speaker there. I was a guest speaker there because I was branding myself on LinkedIn. So I actually have a collaboration partnership with the SOS organization to this day. But they reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to have you on the panel. And I didn't have a huge following then, but literally after that, my following began to increase. And then I'm going to say within less than a year, my following has past doubled. And then another thing that you can do to help, increase your following, if you don't have a huge following, is LinkedIn newsletters. You can do LinkedIn newsletters. And the way that works is whoever is following you or whoever you're LinkedIn friends with, whenever you establish your first LinkedIn newsletter, it will let your followers know that you've established one. And then if you notice, you'll receive some notifications saying, oh, so-and-so has a LinkedIn newsletter and this is what it's all about, something along those lines. So you don't need a huge following, but if you follow the strategies and tips that I'm giving to you today, that following will increase and it will fly. It will blow up like crazy. I mean, I've never seen anything like it before in my life. As I said, I think I almost have 4,000 followers, and I've actually gained 200 followers within less than a week because of the fact, I posted my GoFundMe page that has to do with, the clinical research industry, or what I'm trying to establish in Southeast Missouri, Sikeston, Missouri. And you have to be established. No, everybody starts from ground zero. Everybody starts in a naive position, meaning you don't know what you don't know. But as time goes on, you will be establishing yourself. But again, the way you establish yourself is by showing up on LinkedIn, providing good content, educational content. Okay, I had to drink some water. Okay, what are sponsors, CROs, and vendors? What do they actually want? They want trustworthy execution. So even as a customer, whenever you're going into these stores to buy whatever it is, you want to make for sure that whatever they're selling You can actually trust the product that you're buying. You can actually trust the company that's actually selling you or whatever it is that you're wanting to buy. I see oh no, a typo here. I'll fix that. So again, whenever you are showing up on LinkedIn, they want to know if you're trustworthy or not. And you build trust by showing up, giving great content. And I'll keep repeating this 100 million times because that's what it really boils down to. Community access. Again, these companies are looking for you to solve a pain point for them as far as enrollment goals, patient recruitment and retention, tapping into a market or a community that's not necessarily tapped into, or there's a low percentage of it. Are you able to give them an access to a community that's untapped? Excuse me. I can actually say that I am, because we don't have clinical research here. So this is a huge untapped market. It's so untapped that we do not have any clinical research education here, no sites, sponsors, no CRAs, no CRCs, no PIs, although that's in the works for my particular business. What kind of infrastructure or roadmap are you providing? Are you providing any kind of roadmap? Are you providing whatever package or services that you have to offer? Are you able to take the sponsor, CROs, vendors from point A, or any client from point A to point B? You're giving them a roadmap. So say, for instance, with myself, I'm giving my clients a roadmap on how to become a CRA, how to become a principal investigator, how to become a CRC, or how to take your clinical research experience in my mentorship program that I have right now and turn it into a side hustle. Do I have that infrastructure to help you out? Of course I do. As a matter of fact, my programs are turnkey. You don't have to go looking anywhere. I have exactly what you need. And that's providing the structure and the roadmap, guest speakers, the templates, the replays, anything that is needed within for my clients or for the sponsors. I have that infrastructure and the roadmap to take them to wherever they need to go. And then the fourth thing is, whatever you're talking about, is your message clear? Again, I preach research naive. I even zoned in on the area that I've lived in. I've zoned in on the statistics on how we need the infrastructure here, how we need sponsors to look in this area, because there is a lack thereof. So whenever your message is strong and clear, then you will be able to, again, pull in those individuals so you can land those high paid partnerships. Oh, so much spacing here. I hope you guys are able to, I hope you're learning something. And again, you can ask questions whenever you, in the chat box. And then whenever we are towards the end, I will look at those and try to answer your questions as best I know how. Okay. Are you partnering or positioning yourself as a partner? Are you leading with impact? Are you sharing your vision? Are you clarifying how they will win? If they're winning, you're winning. If you're leading with impact, that means you're leading with a vision and a purpose. You're leading with a solution, again, that's going to solve a pain point in the industry. You have a vision that you have actually mapped out, you put on paper, and you're working on executing your vision. You can't just say, oh, I have a vision, and not do anything about it. You have to make sure you line out the clear steps you're taking to make sure that whatever vision that you have and the impact that you're making is coming to fruition, and clarify how they're going to win. So say, for instance, again, in my case, how will the sponsors or the CROs or patients in this area or the students in the area, how will they win? Well, the students, you're going to get your education. The students, you're going to receive volunteering experiences. The students, and even the sponsors, you're going to have the turnkey mentorship programs that, you don't have to go pulling from all over the place. I've done the heavy lifting for you. All you need to do is come, and with ambition, come with a vision, and we can work on clarifying how everybody's going to win. And again, everybody wins because, in this area, it's creating jobs. In this area, it's creating another source of a platform, if you will, for people to come and learn more about clinical research industry. That's the purpose of my nonprofit organization. So it's many layers that you get to stack on together, but you have to start at least with one pain point. Then you build out your products from that pain point, and you're actually providing a solution based upon what you're living and based upon what's needed. Let's see here. It is 1:20. I think we're doing good. Using visibility to get into the room. Be seen. You need to be strategic. Create educational content. Share your why and your progress. Okay. Whenever I think of being seen, I think of creating webinars like this and sharing it on YouTube and then LinkedIn. You can also take articles and share your thoughts on LinkedIn and give a summary of what the article is talking about, and then, put your own twist on it. And that goes to creating educational content too. There are many different ways of creating educational content. It doesn't have to be webinars like this. It can be in a course. I've gotten plenty of courses that I'm working on that provides educational content. So that's still being strategic. You are providing value just to get into the room. And then another thing I want to mention to you, whenever you're providing value, you're going to automatically place yourself in a room. So say, for instance, you will automatically be seen by, different organizations that are hosting like these big conferences, and they're going to reach out to you and they're going to ask you, it happened to me, to be a guest speaker. And whenever you go to these conferences, make sure that you have your business cards ready. Make sure you have a brochure ready that explains your company, who you are, what you're all about, what you're trying to do, what the community you're trying to serve, and the pain points, and how your actual company can solve those pain points. What services are you providing? And then you share your why. Everybody should have a why. It shouldn't really be anything surface level. And whenever you share your why, you don't have to go into a lot of details, but it's just enough for people to understand your background. And it's just enough for people to say, oh, you know what? You're right. She does live in a research naive area. I see why she's passionate about it. I see why she wants to bring in this particular industry into this place, because it's going to provide, jobs, clinical trial participation for clinical trial for patients to participate in clinical trials. And it's also bringing in a site that way, like in my case, patients do not have to travel all over the place to participate in a clinical trial. That's my why. And then also because I love what I do. I'm actually in love with what I do. And then as you're going along, you can share your progress. It doesn't have to be money wise, but it can be something along the lines of, what did you learn whenever you attended the conference? Who were you able to connect with? If once you have connected with individuals, did you have other individuals or potential clients or someone like yourself reaching out to you in your inbox saying that they were inspired by what you have taught, what you took to the conference? They want to stay connected with you. They want to learn more from you. So that's, those are things that you can talk about on LinkedIn, and that's showing your progress. Another way of showing your progress is saying, oh, you know what? I created this particular product. It didn't really go that well. Now I have revamped it and it's attracting more ideal clients. That's showing progress. That is progress. And at some point, someone's going to say, you know what? Whatever you have to offer, I want it. Still showing progress. Even your knowledge, your understanding of what this industry is all about. You can even talk about that, where you were 2 months ago or a year ago, and you can talk about where you are today. People will be able to see your progress. You don't necessarily have to always blast it out, but if you're sharing your story, The next time, say for instance, whenever I went to a conference, I leveled up. I actually brought something tangible to the conference. So don't go anywhere without anything that's not tangible. Whenever you go to these places or whenever you're talking about your progress or the educational content, make sure people have some takeaways that they can actually implement into their own lives or into their own businesses. I'll say it again 100 million times. Your digital presence matter. You cannot be shy whenever it comes to putting yourself out there on LinkedIn, YouTube, or even eventually creating a website. That comes in time. So whenever you're actively exploring relationships with other companies, you need to think about your website. It gives you credibility. LinkedIn gives you the authority. So say for instance, if you love, and I bring this example up all the time because it's one of the easier ones, patient recruitment and retention. You talk about those things, you talk about the issues that are around it, and you are able to talk about how you were able to solve those issues with another site or CRO, a sponsor. You continue to keep talking about those, and you give out value and qualitative results. Then now you have become the subject matter expert on that topic. And then not only that, you're putting your own twist to it. This is your own method, your own way of how you have created the credibility within your particular niche, and you have created the authority on LinkedIn. And then again with YouTube, I love YouTube. I'm, working on creating educational content based upon my niche, based upon the services that I have to offer and how it will help. And then just based upon the fact that this is what's needed in this industry. So YouTube is really great to put out educational content too. They say long form content, and you can actually do shorts as well. The way you can do that is you repurpose your content. So say for instance, what I love to do is I like to create webinars, a LinkedIn newsletter, a YouTube short, and sometimes like a free webinar. And I take those 4 things, whatever the topic is, and I repurpose that all the content. That way I'm able to share something on a LinkedIn post. I'm able to share something within my newsletter. I'm able to share a YouTube short video within my newsletter that's going to actually take you to my long form content on YouTube. So there are many different ways of doing that. And the goal is to be rural ready tech for recruitment, retention, and regulatory. I don't think that's correct. Hold on just a second. Well, basically the goal is to just be ready. Position yourself on these social media platforms. So whenever the time comes, you will have something to offer to your ideal client. You'll have something to offer to anybody you're looking to partner with. And sometimes you have to be proactive. There's one company I was actually proactive with because I plan on using their system at my site anyway. But because I have educational, mentorship programs in my academy, I thought, well, I would love to integrate their system into my educational programs, mentorship programs, because that's not something that is done in this industry. There's one thing to get into the industry, and there's one thing to actually have, a system set in place. So before you get into the industry, like the way I have set up, you're going to receive all the education and vendor management knowledge that a lot of sites use. Hold on, I'll get to that. That a lot of sites use, in order to educate your audience, if that makes any sense. So what I did was I pitched what I had, the courses that I had, to this particular vendor. And what they said was, okay, let me see, give us a demo of your course and send it to us, and then we'll talk about it more. I did that. They sent me some feedback. They absolutely loved what I had to offer. And so now I'm in the process, long story short, I'm in the process of onboarding with them sometime actually next month. And that's another way of gaining a partnership, high paying partnership with a vendor that is well known in the industry, and their clientele, they have like over 2,000 plus clients that will be able to reach out to me for my services. So that's another way of landing a partnership. But your digital presence matter. Everything that we talked about, putting yourself out there, people are going to see that. And as long as it has value, then they're going to want to work with you. And as long as you're putting out value, you can actually reach out to these companies and say, this is how I feel like your platform will be beneficial and how we can help each other. So whenever you get to the point to where you're actually able to land these partnership deals, there are two different ways you will get paid: a flat fee or consulting. It can be commission-based or referral. And when to know when to use each. Some companies, they do both. So say, for instance, like with my particular mentorship program, what I teach you is I actually teach you how to create a product based upon the need in the industry, based upon the gap, the pain points, and how you're able to solve it. I take you through all those steps. And then I also, you're also going to be exposed to have access to my marketing team. So once we are done creating your actual product, then I have what we call a revenue sharing model. So what you will do is you'll still be able to, you have to market your products. You'll still be able to sell your products for 100% wherever, on whatever website that you have, whatever platform that you have. Then, since I have the marketing team, and since they're working on, revamping my website, you'll be able to partner with me with your own product that we have created together, and we can, talk about the revenue sharing model. So you'll be able to receive 100% of your revenue over here, and then there's a shared paying model over here too. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. Using content to spark outreach. Again, you tell your story, you educate your community, you educate the people on your platform, and it empowers them. And you have to be consistent with whatever message that you are delivering. Sometimes it takes a little while to actually zone in on the message that you want to deliver. But once you deliver that message and you actually zone in on your niche and your ideal client, then you will begin to build out your content, and then that content will eventually help you land paid partnerships. Here are some examples of free partnerships that work. Volunteering. Never underestimate volunteering. That's something that I have within my particular program. You volunteer. Shared event exposure. So if you're wanting to say hop on a webinar with me, we can do that, or hop on a webinar. Actually you can, that's another thing too. Whenever you start putting yourself out there, people are going to want to ask you to get on their podcast. So that's going to be your way of, exposing yourself and exposing like, hey, this is exactly what I have to offer. And this is how it's helping my community, and it's making a difference. And digital collaborations, whenever I think of a digital collaboration, paid partnership is, co-branding or co-offering your product on someone else's platform, another business's platform. So what are your next steps? Build your visibility engine. And what that means is build your content, build out who you are, who you're going to talk to, what pain points you're going to address, and keep showing up on social media. You need to decide on your value proposition. And whenever you decide on your value proposition, whatever that may be, whatever product that you're trying to create, you need to make sure you pitch it with confidence and know that whatever you have to offer is going to solve that pain point, and it's going to be beneficial to whoever is wanting to partner with you. And then you have to also think about, who do you want to partner with? That's another question. Whenever you are branding yourself on social media, you need to think about who you're talking to, who's the audience that you're talking to. And that's going to determine, which way or which partnership you want to go with, or which company you want to go with. This did not last an hour. A little over 30 minutes. I think that's pretty good timing. I would love to hear your questions. I'd love to hear if you have a business, what is your vision and how you actually can start applying these strategies right now. And a shameless plug, I have a mentorship program. What we do is we talk about how we take your clinical research experience and we turn it into an actual business. I help you do that step by step. You will have exposure to and support with my marketing team. So you're not going to have to go looking for a marketing team. You will have exposure to the lawyers, clinical research lawyers that are in this industry. You'll have access to them as well and what they have to offer. And let's see here, I'll give you templates. You'll have access to the courses indefinitely. You will actually receive a partnership deal with me and a revenue sharing model as well. So I don't leave you hanging whenever we create your particular product. So just keep in mind, not only do I have partnerships that I've landed, you and I can create a partnership, and I can show you exactly how you need to create your product and actually how to price it the right way and make sure it's packed with a lot of value. Let's go ahead and get into, and I only see one question, which is fine. So, Vashanavi, so sorry if I'm butchering your name. So your question is, does my opinion add enough value via LinkedIn post about articles, even if I'm just starting out as a yes, it does. Because everybody starts somewhere. You have to start somewhere. So don't limit yourself. And if you feel like your message is not really going anywhere, just keep going at it. And what you need to do is tweak it. Also, another way of doing it is follow people that have that are basically ahead of you, see what's working for them and become inspired by that. What type of content do you suggest for less experienced people? Well, you talk about how you're not experienced. You talk about how you want to get into the industry. And then what you can do is you can Google some information on a particular clinical research topic. One good one, you can start with patient recruitment and retention. And you can actually talk about those things. You read about it and you give your point of view on what you've learned. And then you actually give your point of view or maybe some takeaways at the end of your post. And then what you do towards the end is you give a call to action. So the call to action can be, well, if you learned anything, please comment below. If you have a newsletter, if you want to learn more, then please subscribe to my newsletter. If you have a YouTube channel talking more about this, you have to start somewhere. You direct people to your link to YouTube to your long form content. Does that answer your question? And you guys, we still have plenty of time left, so ask your questions. And you can also inbox me too. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You said I'll post that on there. You're very welcome. Does anybody else have any questions? I see there are 4 people online. And I also help individuals get into this industry. And one of the things that may be a little off topic, but one of the things that some individuals need to understand is whenever you are entering into this industry, you're going to have some hands-on experience. You're going to have the education, despite what people are telling you. I know that for a fact. I've been in the industry a little over 4 years, and I see the issues that we face and some of the misinformation that goes on out here, and it's not correct. You need to have experience. And you need to have a mentor to guide you along the way. Any other questions? I'm really excited that everybody is on. I'm excited to, teach you more of what I know and how I am working. My success story just keeps evolving. Again, I've landed, let's see here, 3 to 4 partnerships. And sometimes some of those partnerships are not paid, but whenever you are actually in collaboration with an organization, what happens is they actually give you exposure, and they give you exposure in a way that, excuse me, again, let's say if you've been invited to their conference, like say, for instance, like myself, I was invited to an SOS conference. That's still that you still landed a partnership with that particular company, but that's actually a way for you to brand yourself, tell people what you're all about. And then again, whenever you're invited to these conferences, then you really need to be on your A game. Make sure that whatever you have to offer is polished as much as possible. And then whenever you get on stage and talk about it, you talk about the things that you're actually doing. Don't talk about anything that's in theory. You talk about the things that you're actually doing, because whenever you do that, you will be able to talk about it seamlessly, and more individuals, more companies are going to gravitate towards you, and they're going to want to learn more about what you have. Now, don't give away your sauce, if you will, your business strategies, but you talk about the solutions that you have that's going to address the pain points. And I promise you, those paid partnerships, they're going to come. It's going to come in flooding like it's a water hose, fire hydrant, if you will. And whenever that fire hydrant is open, all that water starts spilling out, and it's hard to contain. All right. I have another question. First, thank you for this webinar. It was very eye-opening. How did you start branding yourself, and can you share the links to your courses? Okay. You're very welcome. I absolutely love teaching these things because I don't think there's enough detailed information about it. How did I start branding myself? I started by posting, I think one of my posts on LinkedIn talked about clinical trial managers and how they had to navigate patient recruitment and retention in the therapeutic area of oncology. Because initially I wanted to go into, that's another story. I wanted to go into the CTM role, and I wasn't getting anywhere. Oh, you need the experience. Well, how can I get the experience if nobody's giving me a chance? So I did that. And then another thing I did was I made a YouTube video on biomarkers. And again, some of the things, whenever I started branding myself, it was kind of a hit and miss. I tried to post on LinkedIn. I tried to go on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. I didn't feel like I was getting the traction that I needed, but don't sell yourself short. Even whenever people are not necessarily commenting, people are watching. And so that was how I was able to land my first guest speaking conference at the SOS conference. I was a guest speaker there. I'd never done anything like that before. Now, as time went on, and as I began to, reevaluate the partnership or the services that I had to offer, especially like with the courses, it started off with the courses. I began to figure out like my niche, who I needed to speak to was myself. What issues was I having whenever I got into this industry? And what were the gaps in this industry that I just completely could not, I hated it, absolutely hated it. And the one thing that I hated was the fact that there was no formal education. Because whenever you get into this industry, if you all know or you don't know, it's a totally different ballgame. You get hit with so many different acronyms, and what are these roles, and what does this mean? What's a 1572? What's a CRA? What's a CRC? So, I'm able to provide those particular educational content because now I know what it takes to survive in this industry, and I'm still learning. But again, as time went on, I began to create not only my academy, but the mentorship programs, one-to-one mentorship programs. Yes, it may be on the expensive side, but the thing that you get with me is the fact that you're not going anywhere else to look for anything, nothing. I literally bring, let's say if you're wanting to be a CRC, I bring in a guest speaker that will talk about the day in the life of a CRC. I bring in one of my instructors that's going to help review your resume from the traditional side. And then what I do is I review your resume from the entrepreneurial lens. So you get two bang for your buck. And then also, if you're wanting to be a CRC, I bring in a site owner to actually come in and, talk about what site owners look for in candidates. And we actually do interview preps, resume review, LinkedIn rebranding. We do it all. So again, those resources. And then also, whenever you work with me, we record the sessions, and those sessions are for you to have to go back and review. But again, as I said, I'm rambling. I feel like as time went on, I was able to brand myself because I figured out my niche was me. My niche is what I'm living right now. Research naive. I didn't know anything about clinical research, no education whatsoever. I didn't really have, I had a little bit of mentorship, but it wasn't in depth the way I've created it. So whenever you start branding yourself, you begin to tweak what you have and your message along the way. And then you will know whenever you have hit a sweet spot, because what happens is your posts will start getting shared multiple times. Right now, my inbox is being flooded with individuals that are looking to volunteer. So now I'm going to have to create a volunteer sign-up sheet for people to get the experience. What people are they're going to come with you hungry for knowledge and hungry for the help. And yes, I can share the links to my courses. Give me just a second. Lena, are you, I think, let's see here. Let me look at something right quick. Oh, so Lena, you did sign up, or did you? I'll just post the links in the description box here. Give me just a second. And right now, they are set to pre-order. So actually, I tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share this one. Let's see, copy page link. You are so welcome. Here's the mentorship program I have going on I will have going on. And then the actual course. So it depends on where you're trying. Actually, if you're trying to transition into the industry, I have, and these are all still on pre-order. My media team, my marketing team and I were getting all this together. So it's all polished and really pretty. So here is the link to the Healthcare to Research Accelerator Academy. And that is for individuals trying to transition into the space. And then also another thing too, I want to make for sure you understand is whenever you're creating a brand or you're looking for a partnership, make sure within your partnership that everybody, there's a mutual benefit there. So I say that to say, like, say, for instance, in my mentorship programs or in my academy, well, if a site is looking to for a CRC, a trained CRC, well, guess what? I will have a pipeline of trained CRCs that have gone through my academy. And they'll be able to get some hands-on experience, volunteering experience with whichever site that I have partnered with. And even whenever my own site, as soon as things are like buttoned all up. So there's that one. And then if you're actually trying to become a CRC, well, let's see here. Page link for that. And you're welcome. You know what I will do? I tell you what, this is what I am going to do. I've shared those links. I don't know if there's anybody in the comments or on this webinar that wants to become a CRA, but I'll share that anyway. And again, you know, with all my programs, you receive one-to-one training, and then I create groups. You know, you'll be in a group forever. There's going to be a lot of camaraderie there. You will have access to my instructors. I have 3 instructors right now. So you're not left to be alone. And then also within my academy, we dive a little bit deep into business development. And then, of course, there's always career development as well. And then for anyone that is interested in the PI course, I guess I can, I'll link that in the description box too. Okay. And there are payment plans for all of my programs. And also, I have a grant writer. We're working on some things behind the scenes. So I'm hoping that I will be able to establish a scholarship for individuals that are looking to take these courses. And again, the one particular mentorship that's live now, it's called the Side Hustle Program. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that one. I added more benefits to it because I thought, well, you know, if I'm teaching people how to create a product and a service, they need to be able to see what it's like to actually launch it. Because again, as you are growing your business and your brand, and if you notice any partnership that you land with any company, they have a marketing team. So whatever you create, it has to be marketed. So that's something that I give to my clients. You'll have access to your to my marketing team. And after you have graduated from the program, you receive your certificate. And then we market your product. You'll have the opportunity to market your product on my website, which will be what I call, you can land a partnership with me, shared revenue, and then you'll still have the ability to sell your product on your own website or landing page. And also, I teach you how to price your product. And I teach you how to create, you know, you create content like this, and you have your low ticket product and then your high ticket product. I'm telling you, it works whenever you're actually speaking to your ideal audience. And people, whenever you create free content, you're building trust within your community. And they need to see that what you have to offer is of value. People buy into people. And sometimes it takes a little while for people to convert, but that's okay. That's with anything that you do. I know sometimes people cringe at the idea of, you know, investing in themselves, but what you're investing in is your future, and you're also investing in a turnkey program that has everything that you need. And also, I teach you how to, whenever I say I teach you how to price your products, there are some hidden fees that that these platforms they charge, and you know it costs to run a business. So you have to make for sure that whatever you're pricing your product at, you are bringing in a nice net income, and it's enough for you to, let's say if you wanted to keep it as a side hustle, it's enough for you to pay for, you know, platforms like this. It's enough for you to pay for Think-A-Fit platforms, a marketing team, what else? A videographer. Another thing you can do is Fiverr, hiring Fiverr. to do some of the work for you. So it's a lot of things that go into building a business that and partnership programs that goes on behind the scenes that people are not really aware of. But those are some of the things that I teach you. How did you get your years of experience with no previous background? Well, in 2020, whenever COVID-19 hit, at the time, CROs and sponsors were hiring everybody. It did not matter. They were going on a hiring frenzy. And at that time, my previous background, I have a bachelor's degree in clinical lab science with a minor in chemistry. And if you all are not aware of that particular role, we actually work in the hospital and the blood transfusions, we set up blood, run the chemistry lab, CBCs, urinalysis, bacteriology, microbiology, coagulation. We run all those tests on patients, chemistry, and then we report critical results to doctors and things like that. One day I was working in the chemistry lab department. It was on a weekend, as a matter of fact. The year 2020, whenever all that mess was going on, a lady, the phlebotomist at the time, her sister, she told me, she said, "Oh, you're my sister. She's coming through and she's going to be visiting." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." So what happened was her sister came back to the chemistry lab and we talked, and she asked me, "Well, what do you do? What kind of education do you have?" And I also have a master's in biology. And I talked to her, and our conversation, our relationship, it just took off. And I come to find out she worked in the clinical research industry. Never ever heard of such a thing in my life, like the roles and what it entailed. You know, you hear of clinical research, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You're just not aware of it. That's just not common knowledge. And what she said to me, she was like, "Oh, you could totally make bank." Really? So, "Oh, you can make six figures." "Oh, is that right? Okay, tell me more about it." So it was through her. She told me to take a few courses. I can't remember the name of the institution, and it gave me a little bit of knowledge, but it did not prepare me for what I actually walked into. But because I had a relationship with her, and at the time she worked at the company I'm working for right now, which is PPD, one of the largest CROs in the company industry. She was working for them, and she had a good relationship with the recruiter. So I gave her my resume. She passed it on to the recruiter. And I'm going to say within 3 weeks, in less than a month, I was interviewed by the recruiter. And the next week or so, I was interviewed by the hiring managers. This was in 2021. And I received an offer, the first or second week of February of 2021. And I started with PPD February 15th, the year 2021. So that's how I got in. A lot of people fall into the industry. I wouldn't say by luck, but it just happens for them. But now, since things are a little different in the industry, it doesn't necessarily work that way. You have to go above and beyond what I've done. And right now, there are people with years of experience. Some people have been laid off, and some of those individuals have years of experience, and they're having a hard time getting back into the industry. But there are still ways of doing it. It just takes a little bit of hard work and just knowing how to position yourself in the right way. And now you really do. People that tell you that you don't need the education or mentorship, don't listen to that. They're lying. Because whenever you have the relationship and the mentorship, the way I've positioned it, what happens is you're not taking so much time looking for volunteering experiences. You're not taking so much time having your resume revamped and looking for the right individual. I cut that all out. I cut it all out because I know the struggle. I know what it's like. Does that answer your question? Lena? We're actually making good time. It's 1:58 p.m. I do have another webinar coming up next Saturday. It's about research naive areas. Can't remember the exact topic. And then I think I'm doing one the middle of the week. I can't remember. It does answer your question. Excellent. It may have been long-winded, but I want to make for sure I answered your question thoroughly. It's 1:59 p.m. You all can always reach out to me and ask me questions. I will inform you that my schedule is so tight right now. I barely even I have time for a lot of business meetings, and then count me in. Which one do you need? I have time for business meetings and I have time for my clients. It's my schedule is just that tight. And then, oh, by the way, to tell you how my business is just growing like wildfire, I've had a site owner to reach out to me for partnership collaboration, probably a formal collaboration. I don't know yet. We're meeting on Monday. I actually have to do a podcast on Monday as well. And then I think my nonprofit organization, we're meeting on Friday. I just had a meeting with my board member, with another individual. We're talking about some things, trying to develop some things, giving tips and tricks and things like that. So, and I also have my own personal conference. Well, my nonprofit organization, we're having a conference in October. And then I'm actually working on my own personal conference coming up next year. So again, whenever I talk about putting yourself out there on LinkedIn and talking about it and networking with the right people, receiving the right mentorship, investing in yourself, all that will come back. Whatever you have invested initially, because as a business owner, I've invested quite a bit of money, more than 10K, I will tell you that, but it's coming back tenfold. It's coming back tenfold. In certain ways I never would have imagined. So I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, I know some people are skeptical, and I was too, but whenever you actually put yourself out there and start investing in you, the ROI will be high. You just have to make sure, however you're positioning yourself, it's unique, and don't copy anybody else. Then the paid partnerships will come. Do you have any more questions? It's 2:01. Lena, you can reach out to me on my inbox. Let me know exactly. You said count me in. Let me know exactly what you're needing, and we can talk about it. And anyone else on the call, if there's something that if this resonated with you in any kind of way, let me know. And if you're needing extra help with anything, let me know about that too. I'm telling you, we can work together, and I will harp on this 100 million times. Don't underestimate yourself. Whenever I created my first 2 mentorship programs in April, I launched it. I literally made $1,800 within 30 days. So the money that you spend on yourself, you can get that back. And the fact that now I said, I'm going to make sure my clients have my marketing team. Having a marketing team on your side, what they do is they go through and make sure your SEO optimization is correct for your target audience. And then at that point, you're going to start seeing a huge difference. You have to spend a little bit of money, but I guarantee you that money is going to return. It just takes some time. All right, you'll do it soon. We'll do soon. Excellent, excellent. So yeah, there are many different ways of creating a career and creating your own pathway. All right. Oh, I forgot the last slide. That happens every time, and I do not know why. If you're not following me on LinkedIn, go ahead and follow me. And if you have not subscribed to my newsletter, please subscribe. And then also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Oh, that's another way too to monetize. Sorry, I keep thinking of these things. I'm like, I need to give these nuggets out to my audience. That's another way you can monetize yourself. It takes a little while to monetize on YouTube, which that's something that I'm working on. I'm not near as close, but I am noticing I'm getting a few more followers here and there. So if nothing else, this will conclude the presentation. And I hope you all can at least take away one thing that I've talked about and one thing that I've learned or that you've learned, and maybe implement it into your own lives. Okay. Thank you all and have a great Saturday.